The baby finished his bottle, eyes fluttering as he drifted into sleep. She burped in carefully, her movements slow and practiced. The strain in her shoulders eased for the first time since she walked in. Daniel saw the shift, the way exhaustion peeled away just enough to leave behind something gentler, something vulnerable that he had seen that look before. Years ago. In a dim apartment, weak light pouring through broken blinds, Lily finally sleeping in his arms after hours of crying. Back then, he hadn't known what he was doing. But he remembered that moment when the storm inside a parent finally quieted for a breath. Even if the world outside didn't, she held the baby with a quiet reverence, her thumb tracing the edge of the tiny blanket bundled against him. The hallway was still, softened by the hum of an old fluorescent light. Dust particles floated like tiny stars in the morning beam stretching across the floor. Daniel didn't speak. He didn't want to disturb that fragile moment. Instead, he leaned on his mop handle, the wooden pole warm where his palm rested, studying the way the soldier's posture changed. Not fully relaxed, she didn't seem like someone who ever relaxed completely, but lighter. Less braced against the world. You look like you needed that, Daniel said gently, her eyes flickered toward him. Not guarded, not defensive, just tired. The kind of tired that didn't disappear with sleep. The kind carried deep in the bones. I did, she whispered. I really did. Her voice cracked on the last word. Daniel didn't move closer, didn't try to comfort her more than she allowed. People like her, people carrying that kind of weight, needed space more than sympathy. He understood that. He lived that long night, he asked quietly if her laugh was soft, humorless. Long month. He nodded. Been there. She looked at him again, studying him for a second too long. Have you? He exhaled, the memory pulling at him unexpectedly. After my daughter was born. His voice softened. And after, everything. He never liked saying it aloud. My wife died. It always sounded too small for how much it had shattered him. You have a daughter, she asked, a little surprised. He shrugged. 8 years old. Smart enough to run the whole school if she wanted. Bossy enough too. A tiny shadow of a smile formed on the soldier's lips. Sounds like a good age. It is. But back then, when she was a baby? His expression changed, something older passing through it. No idea how I survived those nights. She rocked her own child gently, eyes softening. But you did. Yeah, he said. Somehow. Silence settled between them again, not heavy this time, but shared, almost comfortable. The soldier leaned against the cold wall, letting her head rest back for a moment. A rare moment of surrender. Her hands, though steady, showed the faint tremble of someone who'd pushed past her limits too many times. The baby slept deeply now, his small lips parted, breath even and soft. His tiny fingers curled around a loop of her dog tags, holding on in his sleep. Daniel's gaze lingered on the small detail. Babies always held on to something. A finger, a shirt, a heartbeat. As if refusing to trust the world not to slip away. How old is he? Daniel asked. 6 months, she replied quietly. Though sometimes it feels like he's carried me longer than I've carried him. He smiled faintly. They do that. He's a good baby, she whispered. Really good. I'm all he has. The way she said it hit him like something sharp and familiar. That's enough, Daniel said softly, more firmly than he expected. Being there. Showing up. Even on the days you feel like breaking. She blinked, slowly, like absorbing each word. You think so? She murmured, I know so. Her throat worked as she swallowed. She looked down at the baby, brushing a loose strand of hair from his forehead. I'm trying, she whispered. God, I am trying so hard. Daniel breathed out gently. No one who tries this hard is failing. Her shoulders shuddered with the smallest, trembling breath. She didn't cry. She didn't break. She just let herself feel something most people never noticed when soldiers cracked. Not physically, but invisibly, beneath the armor, beneath the discipline. Daniel saw it though, not because he was looking for it, but because he lived with cracks of his own. Do you have anyone? He asked quietly. Family? She shook her head. Not here. And there was a strange weight in the way she said here. As if she could have said more but didn't. As if she held too many stories behind one short sentence, "You eat breakfast?" Daniel asked suddenly, practical as always. She blinked. "Breakfast?" "You know," he said, gesturing to the almost empty hallway. "The thing people are supposed to have before they start a day of whatever it is you do." A real laugh slipped out this time. Small. Soft. "But real. Coffee is breakfast," she said, "not in my building." She raised an eyebrow. "Your building?" He nodded toward his mop. "I run the place." She looked around at the old lockers, the fading posters, the humming lights, then back at him. "You're serious?" "Deadly." Another small smile. "Fine," she said. "What are the breakfast rules then?" "You sit here with the kid," Daniel said, already turning toward the staff room. "I'll get you something." "You don't have to, I know," he said without looking back. "But you need it." She opened her mouth to argue but stopped. Maybe because she knew he was right. Maybe because she didn't have the strength to pretend otherwise. When he returned with a banana, a wrapped breakfast bar, and a cup of warm water, she stared at the offering like it was some rare treasure. "I'm not used to people doing things for me," she admitted. He shrugged. "Get used to it. At least in this hallway." She accepted the banana with a quiet gratitude that made Daniel look away. Not out of awkwardness, out of respect. As she ate, the baby slept deeper, his little chest rising and falling in a rhythm Daniel found strangely calming. The soldier chewed slowly, each bite easing the tension in her posture. "You know," she said softly, "most people look at me and see someone who shouldn't need help." "They're wrong," Daniel replied. She looked at him again, really looked. And this time, her eyes didn't hold exhaustion or defensiveness. They held recognition. Trust. Maybe the beginning of something neither of them understood yet. "Daniel," she whispered. "You remind me of someone." "Good or bad?" "Good," she said. "Someone steady." He felt something warm coil in his chest. He didn't ask who she meant. Some shadows weren't meant to be chased. She finished the banana. Her shoulders relaxed. The baby murmured in his sleep. The hallway held them in a quiet that felt almost sacred. "I should go," she said reluctantly. "You can stay a few more minutes if you want." She hesitated. "I do want to. But I can't. They're expecting me." "Tomorrow then," Daniel said, surprising himself with the certainty in his voice. Her lips curved. "Tomorrow." She stood slowly, adjusting the baby's carrier with practiced ease. Even tired, she moved with a soldier's precision, controlled, alert, always ready to be called into action. "Thank you," she said softly. "For everything." "You don't owe me thanks," he replied, but she looked at him like she disagreed. "You did more for me in 20 minutes than anyone else has in weeks," she said. "Maybe months." He didn't know how to answer that. Words suddenly felt clumsy. She spared him the need to find any. "I'll see you in the morning," she said, and then she walked down the hallway, her steps silent, her silhouette small yet strong against the long stretch of school light. Daniel watched until she disappeared around the corner, baby still sleeping peacefully against her chest. He didn't know why her leaving pulled at something inside him. He didn't know why he was already listening for tomorrow. He didn't know that this simple morning routine would turn into something far bigger, dangerous, complicated, life-changing. He didn't know she wasn't just a tired soldier. He didn't know she was the admiral's daughter, but he would, and nothing in his quiet, predictable life would ever stay quiet again. "If you want 5 cinematic photo prompts for this chapter, just tell me, I'll generate them instantly."